Everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to read another Your Boyfriend fanfic called Red from Eon Panda Roar. Peter was in the midst of his daily routine, ensuring that his darling was doing well. Whether that called for hiding within your home or spending the well-worth 3-hour drive thinking and fantasizing about you, he was sure that you were doing well. You were easygoing, nothing could really get you on your downside. And you always had a reason to smile. Your whole personality brightened the room. You always had time to listen to people's worries if they weren't having a good day. It was that emphatic curvature of your hips you swayed when you walked that drew Peter in, caused all the other heads to follow them. The same curves you were currently swaying as you busied yourself with customers going into the diner. Your curves did well to turn Peter on. The dog sinking his teeth into them and hear those delicious moans from you. Or gripping them. Did not help how much he wanted to bend you over one of the diner tables. But that wasn't not the time. But this was not a time to fantasize. Not while he sat in the same diner you're currently busy working in. It's been only weeks since Peter had introduced himself to you. Although he had practiced meeting you 1,000 times, over and over again in his head, he still somehow managed to miss up the real thing. To his surprise, however, you accepted the date, and even went as far as to mention the second one in the future. But then, since then, Peter had made sure to visit the diner every day. Order the same milkshake you shared with him, made from you with love, and sit in the first booth to still allow him to look at you as he worked. It was cute. At first, you were embarrassed. Peter was there every day watching you with predatory eyes, and Peter knew this. But as the days went on, you grew more comfortable with him there and even snuck a few kisses up to him if he had time in between tables. Today was no different. He sat at the table in the corner room from the main groups of people and watched you work. It was a busy day, and Peter knew it would be a while before you were able to give him any type of attention. He danced around tables, hips swaying at the beat of their music and smiling at customers as they ordered or asked for something else. This did not make Peter mad in the slightest, as he knew you always reserve a unique smile just for him. And at the moment, one of those smiles was directed at him, as you had finally seen him sitting in his usual corner. This brought flutter of joy to Peter's heart as he watched you sneak away a wave towards him before being called in the back to pick up another order. The horrors began to die down as day was beginning to end. He had been working non-stop without having any real time to rest between cleaning tables and taking orders. You had not had the chance to sit with Peter, as you had been recently since the two of you began dating. Peter slowly drank the fourth milkshake you had brought to him, while he waited for the final customer to leave and for you to start closing shop for the night. He kept his eyes trained on you even as the last customer in the restaurant left, and all the employees had clocked out for the day, save for maybe one or two in the back. You were the only server working, as you were finishing last-minute cleaning before it was officially time for you to walk up for the evening. The leggings you had worn the day did wonder to find the voluptuous butt of yours, and he could not help but stare at the way it jiggles as you washed the last tables. Just as Peter's thoughts began to wander, the bell of the diner's door rang, causing you to stop your cleaning to focus on once more on the door. The irritated Peter caused him to snap his eyes to see who had discovered his sightseeing. A rough-looking man who had not seen a shower in days was eyeing you up and down with a side smirk on his face as you strained and made your way to the door to greet him. A heat of anger filled Peter as he clenched the nearly empty milkshake cup, attempting to smooth down at his fury. You were unaware of the man's stare as you finally stood before him. "I'm sorry, but we're about to close," you had said to him. You were as naive as you were beautiful, which was another trait Peter adored about you, and did not fault you for. In Peter's eyes, you were perfect. You smiled that friendly smile, unaware of the salt he was doing to your breast and body. The brick smile grew wider, as he stepped closer to you, placing a hand on your hips that belonged to Peter, and pulled you closer. Peter's gripped the cup even harder. He swore he heard the thick glass begin to crack. He watched as you attempt to push the guy away from you. The man's puant breath leaned down closer to you and whispered something in your ear that caused your whole body to freeze. Then tears fell from your eyes and Peter stood up. The guy had just noticed Peter as he made his way towards him, causing him to back away from you, giving you the chance to dart into the kitchen. There must have been a look in Peter's eyes that caused the man's manner to go from arrogant to cowardly in an instant. The man had turned away from Peter and darted out the door, and Peter was not going to lose him. Faster than the man had ran, Peter bolt for the door and watched as the cowardly man turned down the alley next to the diner. Being sure not to lose him, Peter followed the man down the alley. Red. That was all he was saying as he chased him deeper into the alley. The guy was fast. Peter would give him that, but not fast enough. Another turn and Peter was on him in seconds. Peter tackled the man, not caring for scrapes. He felt going down on the hard pavement. The man squirmed and made the mistake of facing Peter, and again he froze upon looking at Peter's face. Peter strangled the man, although he was an inch or two shorter than Peter. Peter watched as he shivered more from cowardice. "It's not what it looked like. She was coming on to me." The vile eyes sprouted out of the man's mouth, snapped something in Peter, and next thing he knew, Peter was holding him by the throat. Red. The man thrashed and pulled at Peter's arms, scratching and leaving angry red welts. Peter did not let this faze him, as he watched him struggle to get air into his lungs. Red. Tighter and tighter, Peter squeezed, not caring for the tears coming from the man's face, or how his face slowly began to turn into a purple-blue hue. All Peter could think was he had hurt what was his. He touched what was his. Red. He couldn't help but shake and squeeze this unworthy being, his throat tighter like a rabid dog. Quickly, Peter stood off him. Before the man could even gasp for air, Peter raised his leg and began repeatedly stomping the man's jugular. Thoughts began to fill Peter's mind about how he had hurt you, made you cry, scared you, and forced your smile to leave. It wasn't enough to watch the blood choke out of the man. His eyes widened, nearly popping from their socket. Peter wanted him to feel more pain. The man had stopped moving and was limp, but Peter didn't care. He stomped harder and faster as thoughts began to enter Peter's mind. He touched what was his. 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 He touched what was Peter? Peter froze, mid-motion, as he listened carefully to his surroundings. Peter, why are you out here? He turned his head towards your voice and darted out, dared not breathe. An alley light illuminated the soft glow of your form, and even from here he could see your tear-stained face. Thankfully, Peter was hidden by the edge of the darkness, and he knew you could not see him. Peter was thankful you couldn't. He did not want you to see him like this, and if he could help it, you never would. Begin to walk towards him. Go back to the diner, darling. Go back to the diner, darling. You stopped mid-motion, trying to make out where he was. I'll be there in a minute, darling. I have something to take care of. The lights flicker, and submerging you in darkness for only a second. But a second was all you needed to make out the man that had assaulted you before, and your eyes widened at the sight of him now. And that was Red. If you like my content, please subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below and like the video, and I'll see you guys next time.